So out of my collection of 3 probe boards that I have, there is one probe board in particular that is very amazing. It has to be my Atari probe board. And yeah, this is not going to be toppled anytime soon. I think this is probably going to be my best probe board for a while. It's hard to find one better than this. I almost don't know what to say. It's so cool. I can't find any information about it on the internet, so this might be a one of a kind. I finally have something in my collection that like you can't go out and buy. How cool is that? Anyway, so this is cool on 2 parts. One, that is actually an artifact of the production of Atari hardware. I would assume in the 1980s or so. It seems kind of like a 1980s thing, but I don't really know. It doesn't have a date on it. And also it's really nice just because of how well it's built. So it's a very thick circuit board because you definitely don't want these things breaking on the factory floor or wherever they're used. And also because there's going to be a lot of pressure pushing against the center of this, unless these holes are for mounting a brace for it. But I imagine how these are used is these are connected into a universal testing machine that is able to diagnose and do burn-in testing or whatever on various types of hardware. And that connects that machine to the circuit by having like a ZIF socket or like a bunch of pogo pins or something on here. So then you can have a mechanism take like the CPU or whatever and push it up against that, so then the hardware can like talk to it and diagnose it and make sure everything's fine and do burn-in testing or whatever. And then once that checks out okay, it can be put into an arcade cabinet or into an 8-bit personal computer or a game console. Although I think it most likely be for an arcade machine because there's just so many chips in an arcade machine. Like my Atari race driving cabinet, it's just like 2 whole motherboards like that big of just chips everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was used for the coin-op side of the Atari business. But other than that, I don't know a whole lot about this, which is kind of a shame because I can't find anything about it on the internet. What I do know is that it was found at Weird Stuff Warehouse in California, Sunnyvale, which is where I found all my other probe boards. That doesn't really say much. Although, this is the only probe board that I have that I personally did not find. My friend Parahair found this. And, you know what? Go check out his channel. He doesn't have the same style of videos as me. He mostly focuses on music. But he did mention that he might start covering some of his mechanical projects on his YouTube channel. So, who knows? You guys might find it interesting. If you subscribe to him, tell him that I sent you. Just because he won't be expecting it. Anyway, so I traded with my friend Parahair for this. And I think I got a good deal because I traded an Earthbound game guide and not exactly trading 2 Macintosh Xserve server units, but somebody else was trying to wanted to give me 2 Macintosh Xserve servers. And so I said, oh, in trade of this, you can have those Xserves that I've never actually seen myself. You can have the right to get those. So I'm not sure if he got those or not. But either way, I traded the right to receive those servers. And so that's a sizable amount of stuff, especially since the Earthbound game guides are like, what, 90 bucks a piece? Although I got it for $2, so who cares? I'm so happy with it, because like the thing is with those things, you can buy them on eBay. With this, you can't buy this. I've not even been able to find a picture of this, let alone being able to buy one of these on the internet. Although actually, I guess there's some breakdown to what I just said because there's a price tag on it. It was able to be bought, but it was bought within like 2 days of it being up. So yeah, you're not going to really have much of a chance to buy one of these, if there's even any more in existence. Well, anyway, let's take a closer look at this. Just realized this is a special occasion, I shall wear a special jacket. I think it's pretty beautiful. I think it's more beautiful than the first Pro board that I showed. I might use a picture of this as my channel art. And probably my Patreon art also. Let's just start up close and move around. Just look at the design of this. It's so beautiful. I love how the leads that are going around the circular circuit have straight lines in them, and they're not actually curved. Looks pretty cool. It looks like each connector has the same thing written on them. I find it interesting that there's a lot of numbering on this. They're all 1 through 60, and some are actually in the traces of the board, and some are in the white screen printing or whatever it will be. I believe that's screen printing that they're using. So this is 1 through 60 around here, and then actually written in gold, I believe this is gold, around this ring right here is 1 through 60, and then on the actual silk screen we have 1 through 60 on these. I guess they'd be spots for resistors, but I'm not actually sure. Then around this outer edge we have 1 through 60 also, and it's counting everywhere these arrows are. All this is actually counted every 5th one on the board itself. These outer ones are labeled UR, as in UR45, UR20, and down here they say, which is actually pretty helpful, these little bits right here say UR30 and UR31, and that's because they go up around and they go to 30 and 31. Now on the opposite side, here's something very interesting that you can tell is definitely handmade. Look at how irregular the cutouts around here are, and especially the roundness on there. They're really trying to avoid this corner over here and made it round, I believe. That's just so interesting. You don't see that very often. You don't see custom circuit boards like this. At least I don't. But I don't work in this field very much, so that's probably why. Then we have M&M, which I believe made this. I do not believe they are at all related to the candy, but oh well. Over here we have... It looks like they... Yeah, these are different. So it's not like they made one side and was able to copy it. These do not match the misalignments on these. Because this one, these are kind of straighter, and these ones are angled more. It's kind of an interesting effect to have just a little bit more angle to it. I wonder if we will see any irregularity on here, although these seem to be pretty well maintained. They're not just like hacked away like these ones are, because these ones look like they were kind of just like cut away, or at least like whatever screen printer they did, they most likely used like a piece of tape, and I'm not actually sure how they do this, but I imagine it's some sort of putting a chemical over it that'll like etch this whenever light hits it, but I could be wrong. But this might be after the fact, just to add to what was already designed for this. These little triangle pieces are pretty cool. They're very strange looking. I've never really seen little... I mean, it's very weird to see triangles on a circuit board. Especially how you look at these, they're all angled. Almost like they're the fins in an aperture. And they all go to those little connectors. Now, I would assume that they would just be for like having a wire go across here, but I assume that it actually is a connector that connects onto these, because each one of these is distinct from the other. They're not connected together in the back. They could be if you wanted them to, but they're not. So there might be a connector that hooks on here. Oh, or maybe there's some sort of circuit board that fits through here. Like that. Ah, I think I figured it out. So then there could be a circuit board that would go across here, although the circuit board won't fit. But it could be a circuit board that would go across, and then it'd go up to the top, and go through that too. Because that is definitely just thick enough to hold a circuit board. Wow. Mystery solved. So this is actually to hold a circuit board in there. I'm thinking that this was just made to be very universal. So it could be used for a lot of applications, like if you wanted to have a circuit board here, or if you wanted to mount something here. By the way, I just now noticed all these. Those are kind of interesting. But either way, I think that one wouldn't use all of these little bits and bobs. Like, you probably wouldn't use these if you're using that necessarily. They're added to it just to make it more usable for various testing purposes or whatever. Looks like once again we have a numbering scheme going on, which is 1 through 60. Of course, it's backwards because this is the opposite side of the circuit board. But we have that. Down here we have J1 and J2. It's kind of interesting. Although I wish it actually had more information about it. I think this side is still pretty cool, but the other side is the coolest. It's just so cool to look at, especially since it's blue. I mean, I know blue is overused a lot in like motherboards and whatnot, but sometimes if you find a really old piece of circuitry, blue can really make it look cool. I believe that these connectors are gold-plated also. Look at those. Well guys, I'm going to try to get some cool pictures of this, and I'll show them here. But if you want higher copies of them, I'll post them to my Twitter account if you want to see. Well, that's pretty much it. I don't really know if I want to do anything with this, because it's just too cool. And I don't think I'll be parting with it anytime soon, unless someone wants to trade a very much cooler thing, but that's probably not going to happen, so I'm probably going to like hang this up on the wall or put it in a frame or something. I don't know. Maybe try to track down the thing that this connects into. I don't know. Since I'm not living in Silicon Valley anymore, I most likely won't be finding any more probe boards. But who knows? I'll still keep my eyes open for new probe boards, and I'll definitely buy any that I find. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!